Hello everyone. I hope everybody is doing fine. Welcome to the channel Chem Science. And today we will be studying a topic called Oswald and Walker method. Oswald and Walker method for calculating relative lowering of vapor pressure. This is something we will study today. I have got a lot of messages and calls from many students, and they were telling that, sir, it is very difficult for us to understand from the books that what actually is Oswald and Walker method, because they have just started the theory, and that is not sufficient to understand the concept. So today we will be taking the concept from the very basic level, that what actually happens, and after that we will go into the theory of Oswald and Walker method. So the target is for calculation of relative lowering of vapor pressure and the molar mass of unknown solute. Two purposes are to be solved by the Oswald and Walker method. First of all is calculating the relative lowering of vapor pressure, and another is molar mass of the unknown solvent. Okay, so let us say that this is the container. This container is open. Okay, from this point to this point it is open. This is open container from this point. The red lining, this is open. And let us say dry air is being passed. Okay, you take a very household example. For example, you have a cooler at your home. It is filled with water. What is the basic function of cooler? The dry air comes, it takes the water vapor from the surface of water, and then it throws the water vapor into the room, isn't it? It takes some water and thereby water level decreases, or you can say the weight of the solution or the solvent decreases, isn't it? So let us see, again coming, we are understanding 2-3 concepts. After that we will go into the theory of Oswald and Walker method. Without this concept it is impossible to understand the theory. So what is happening? The dry air is coming inside. These are the vapors, and it is taking vapors along. So let us say the vapor pressure of the solution is PA. Initially vapor pressure of the solution is PA. Okay, so more the vapors, more the dry air will be taking those vapors along with it, isn't it? And more will be the weight loss again. For example, there are, let us say in numerically there are 10 vapors, or we can say 2 gram of vapors. So dry air will take 2 gram of vapors. If there are 4 gram of vapors, then dry air will take 4 gram of vapors. So what we will say, obviously there is a weight loss. Continuously the water level decreases in the cooler. So you have to fill it again. So obviously there is a weight loss. So what is the purpose of dry air? The dry air takes the weight of the vapors, or you can say the vapors along with it. More the vapor pressure, more will be the weight loss. So weight loss is directly proportional. Less will be the vapor pressure, lesser will be the weight loss. More the vapor pressure, more will be the weight loss. Or you can say, so this is the concept number 1. Concept number 1 says that weight loss is directly proportional to the vapor pressure. Now the dry air comes outside, takes away the vapor pressure, and obviously the vapor pressure, initially let us say the vapor pressure of dry air, is equal to 0. We are assuming it, although it is 760 torr, but because that does not have any significant calculation, so we say 0 torr initially. Completely dry, no vapors, so no vapor pressure. So it has taken the weight along with it. It is coming, it has taken the weight, and it is going outside like this. Everybody understands this? Very well. So vapor pressure of the outgoing air will be equal to the vapor pressure initially maintained in the container. Very well. So now we are coming to concept number 2. Okay, now we are coming to concept number 2. Concept number 2 says that now from concept number 1, now the air is wet. and it is maintaining a vapor pressure PA. Air is wet and it is maintaining a vapor pressure PA. So now, or you can say moist air. So moist air comes with a pressure PA, and now let us say we have another solvent, or you can say the solution, which is having a vapor pressure of PB. These vapors are having vapor pressure of PB. Now it will take some amount, or it will give some amount. There are two possibilities. Either it will lose some vapors here, or it will gain some more vapor from here, isn't it? So let us say, and obviously the vapor pressure of the outgoing air will be PB. Okay, it came with PA and entered in a solution maintaining PB vapor pressure, so obviously it has to go out. It has to go out with the same vapor pressure. Keep it in mind, okay? PB. So we have two possibilities, either PB greater than PA or PB less than PA. So let us say possibility number one, PB greater than PA. It means what? PB greater than PA means there will be a weight loss. And that weight loss will be directly proportional to the net pressure. We have studied already. The net pressure is directly proportional to the weight. Let us say W1 is the weight loss. So PB minus PA, because weight is positive. So don't write PA minus PB. It is not equal to PA minus PB. Why? Because it is negative and weight is positive. So we cannot write it, okay? Don't write like this. It must not be written like this, okay? Correct. So now again we are studying it, okay? It is coming with the vapor pressure of PA and it is going away with the vapor pressure of PB. And if it is going away with the vapor pressure of PB, let us say possibility number one, PB greater than PA. If PB greater than PA, it means there will be a weight loss. How the weight is lost? Because now it has taken a higher pressure. Higher pressure means it has taken some vapor from this container as well. Because PB greater than PA, it means this is the higher pressure. Higher pressure means more vapors. And where were the vapors? Inside the container. So it has taken the vapor from the container. It means there is a weight loss in the container, and that weight loss is equal to PB minus PA. You need to understand, okay? Everybody is clear? Now third, let us say the reverse case, PB less than PA. Now we are saying PB less than PA. It means PB is less than PA, which means there is a weight gain because it is lesser amount. It means it has lost some vapors, initial moisture into it. The container was having its initial vapors, plus it gained some more vapors from the pressure PA, and that weight gain must be equal to PA minus PB. This is equal to W2. Now case number 4. Let us say this is a dehydrating agent. Inside the container, what do we have? A dehydrating agent. So if the air comes, it will lose all of the vapors because it will absorb, the dehydrating agent will absorb all the vapor, and hence it will go outside as dry air. Okay. So now what we can say over here is dehydrating agent, let us say CaCl2. CaCl2 maintains 8 molecules of water. Or you can say there are more dehydrating agent. You can take concentrated H2SO4. It is also a dehydrating agent. You study in organic chemistry, there are so many reactions. You can take P4O10, isn't it? It absorbs water and it makes H3PO4, which is an acid. isn't it? It is an acid. So what actually happens? The dehydrating agent absorb all the moist air which is maintained at a pressure of Pb, isn't it? And it has taken all the, so obviously either, now if it is coming at a pressure Pa, then it will lose, you can say, Pa, or what we can say over here is weight gain will be equal to W3 directly proportional to P, either it is Pa or Pb. Okay, but we say W3 is directly proportional to P, a pressure which is initially coming. So here we are not writing it Pa or something else, we are writing P. Let us say the air coming at a pressure P and it has lost some weight, so obviously it is going away as dry air, it is going away as dry air. So we will write simply W3 is directly proportional to P. Now we do have the theory of Ostwald and Walker. You have studied it, let us study it again so that you understand. In concept number 1, what do we have? We do have dry air. That dry air is coming inside it. And what is this dry air is doing? This dry air is gaining the vapors from here and it is coming outside, taking the vapor pressure Pa, moist air. This moist air maintains a vapor pressure of Pa. Okay, so vapor pressure of the outgoing air is Pa. Now let us say we do have case number 2. This moist air coming with the pressure, vapor pressure Pa, it is interacting with already present vapor molecules inside container and it is going outside with vapor pressure Pb, because the vapor pressure of the vapors in the container is Pb. So there exist two possibilities, Pa greater than Pb or Pa less than Pb. Let us say Pb greater than Pa, it means Pb is greater than Pa, it means it has taken more vapors. From where it has taken vapors? From the container. So it means container has lesser weight. Now that weight will be equal to, or you can say directly proportional to Pb minus Pa. If the reverse situation happens, that is what you can say is, if Pb less than Pa, if this happens, then there is a weight gain once again will be directly proportional to Pa minus Pb, because Pa greater than Pb, obviously it must be written like this because weight is always positive. In fourth container, if moist air comes, the dehydrating agent will absorb all the moisture from there, making it again dry. Okay, so there are 3 examples of dehydrating agents which can be used, and weight gain will be equal to directly proportional to P, which is written over here, which simply means weight gain or loss is directly proportional to the vapor pressure of the incoming or outgoing air. Now we have the theory of this Ostwald and Walker method. Dry air is coming, it is taking some vapor, this is the solution. The solution has a vapor pressure of P naught. The solution has a vapor pressure of Ps. Dry air is taking away vapor pressure Ps, so weight loss will be directly proportional to PsW1. Ps is interacting with other vapors. This is a pure solvent. This time it is a pure solvent maintaining a pressure P naught, because always P naught is greater than Ps. We know very well P naught pure solvent of the solution is greater than. So it means again there is a weight loss. More the pressure, more the vapors are taken and weight loss happens in the container. That weight loss will be equal to delta P, that is P naught minus Ps. We are giving it equation number 2. So this P naught interacts with the dehydrating agent. All the vapors are absorbed over here and it comes out as a dry air dehydrating agent. It gains the weight. That will be equal to directly proportional to P naught, because it is coming with a pressure of P naught. Okay, everybody understands that. So now we will show you here that let's give it number 3. Okay, so now we have two target, that is from this was Ostwald and Walker method. Now we have two target. What is target number 1? Relative lowering of vapor pressure, and target number 2 is finding the molar weight of the unknown solute. So let us say we have glucose in the solution and we don't know the molar weight of glucose. How do we calculate it? We are watching it. How do we calculate it, the molar weight? First of all, let us say 2 divided by 1. 2 divided by 1 we are writing over here. It is equal to P naught minus Ps upon Ps, which in turn is equal to, we have studied in previous lecture, N solute. This is equal to N solute upon N solvent multiplied by Ventov factor. And why we are not multiplying it by Ventov factor? Because all the experiments, whatever is happening, they don't need Ventov factor, because Ventov factor is required when we do have theoretical data. It is experimental. In experiments, Ventov factor is not needed. We always get the correct value. So we have written N solute upon N solvent. Obviously this is a formula already we have studied in previous lecture. That is written as W1 upon M1 upon W2 upon M2. M2 is known, let us say water, 18 gram per mole. Okay, W1 is the known amount of water which was introduced as a sample into the container, and W1 is the known weight of glucose sample introduced in a container which was containing water already to make the solution. So in this way only M1 is not known to us. Only M1 is not known to us. This M1 is not known to us. All other things are known to us. P naught is the vapor pressure of pure water, which is obviously equal to 24 torr or 23.8 torr, you can say whatever you like. And Ps is the vapor pressure of the solution, which was studied by using the barometer or some similar equipments, and we have measured the vapor pressure of the solution. So Ps is given, P naught is given, W1, W2 and M2 are given. We can find the value, and then because we have Ps and P naught, we can find P naught minus Ps upon P naught easily. This is equal to relative lowering of vapor pressure, RLVP, relative lowering of vapor pressure. So all the answers will be experimental. So we don't really need the Ventov factor in Ostwald and Walker method. Okay, if somebody says that why you are not taking the consideration of I, which is Ventov factor, we will simply say answers are experimental, and whenever the answers are experimental, there is no logic of introducing Ventov factor. It is not required. Everybody understands that? So please don't forget to subscribe the Chem Science channel, and please press the bell icon. Whatever you have doubt in this topic, we can study. If you still have a doubt, just rewind the video and see it. Thank you.